Hello everyone, my name is Achille Yona and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you're new here, then just welcome. I'm so excited to have you join us for today. We're going to be talking about the Swift Creek and Napier cultures. I mentioned these cultures when I was doing my Lake Lanier video, and if you have not watched it, watch it after this video. Okay, I talked about a mound, okay, the Sumerian mounds, on my Indian Mounds at Lake Lanier video, which you can watch at the top right corner right here. Okay. And this mound is located in Forsyth County, and it is now at the bottom of Lake Lanier. And before they flooded the mound, okay, to make the Beaufort Reservoir, or AKA Lake Lanier, they excavated it and found two ancient American Indian cultures, okay, Swift Creek and Napier cultures found in the mound, okay, through the pottery and the designs and so on and so forth, okay. So you're probably like, what is Swift Creek culture? Well, Swift Creek was a middle woodland period culture that flourished in southeastern woodlands of North America between 100 and 800 BC. Georgia, Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, and Tennessee were all a part of it at the time. The Yent Green Point Complex is the technical name for Swift Creek ceremonial rituals and burial complexes in Florida. Swift Creek coexisted with and interacted with the Hopewell culture and is frequently referred to as Hopewellian. The Swift Creek Mound site in Bibb County, Georgia, served as the site for the Swift Creek culture. Another important site for the Swift Creek uh, is the Lake Mounds. Okay. Um, also, archaeologists also give these different cultures different names for artificial reasons, okay, and it's just for their convenience. It doesn't necessarily mean that these are different people when the pottery changes, because many of them, do the same things, okay. And we're also going to be talking about the complicated stamped term. This is a term that archaeologists use to describe a type of pottery decoration that indigenous Americans in the area of the southeastern United States used for well over a millennium. Okay, and because of these intricate designs, and they typically consist of circular, oval, or curved lines, curvilinear polygons, often arranged in concentric in slash or parallel fashion. Okay, and it just goes on, you guys, because these elements allow for thousands of potential of unique designs. And this decorative tradition has been named Swift Creek after the type site in Middle Georgia. Okay, so now we're gonna be talking more about where these sites are located in Georgia. Okay. Swift Creek face sites can be found all over northern Georgia, but their numbers are significantly lower than those of the preceding Middle Woodland Cartersville phase. Near Columbus and Macon, near the fall line slash sandhills, where important rivers such as the Chattahoochee and Ocmulgee flow from the Piedmont into the sandhills, Swift Creek sites appear to cluster in exceptionally high numbers. The Swift Creek midden at Carter's Lake, exposed by the Coosawattee River, may be one of the last pure creek sites, Swift Creek sites, in the Blue Ridge province. In general, the late woodland period begins around 600 AD and ends around 900 AD. The Swift Creek phase is dated from 600 AD to 750 AD by radiocarbon dates from major sites such as Anahuac Creek on the Chattahoochee River south of Atlanta and Simpson's Field on the Savannah River in the Russell Reservoir, just across the Georgia state line in South Carolina. Other earlier dates have been discovered at the Swift Creek sites. Mark Williams and Gary reported dates of 100 or 110 BC and 110 or 130 AD from Mounds C and B uh, at the Little River site in Morgan County. If these dates are correct, the Swift Creek occupation at the Little River site is older than the most of the Swift Creek sites in southern Georgia and northern Florida. More recently, a Swift Creek site at Georgia Powers Plant, Skeer, was test excavated. Five radiocarbon dates spanning the period of 341 to 655 AD were obtained from features such as post holes in pits. The average from these dates was 506 AD, a bit earlier than is traditionally recognized as being late woodland. Information on these topics is scarce for the late woodland because so very few sites have been excavated. And the best evidence comes from a site just across the Savannah River. And we just went over this in South Carolina, the Simpsons Field, excavated as part of the Russell Reservoir project. This large Swift Creek village has given us a glimpse of late woodland village settlement and of subsistence. Excavations yielded at least one household with a domestic structure, storage pits, earthen ovens, and burials. Although the structure's precise outline could not be ascertained, dimensions of an 8 to 10 meter oval was suggested by Anderson in the syntheses of the Russell Project. Surrounding the structure were numerous large earth ovens and storage pits and two probable late woodland burials. Other such households probably existed on the crest of the terrace. Simpsonsville was probably a small village. Okay, this is what they say. I'm just going off the information that they're saying. Um, Although there's no evidence of a mound. Okay, in Georgia, we have almost no information on Swift Creek villages because most excavations just were concentrated on mounds rather than um, the villages. However, Teresa Rudolph's research of middle and late woodland villages, on the other hand, reveals that the majority of Swift Creek sites are located near huge floodplains on major rivers. The uplands and tributary streams areas are rarely populated. This pattern is similar to that seen in the Kellogg and Cartersville phases. The Ocmulgee River Valley in Middle Georgia near Georgia Power's Plant Skeer is one area of northern Georgia that stands out as unique. Swift Creek and Vining, a basic stamp sites, are almost primarily found on an upland ridge and hilltops overlooking tributary streams in Monroe County. Swift Creek and Napier potsherds are predominantly associated with the early part of late woodland period in northwestern Georgia. Late Swift Creek ceramics are identified by the presence of curvilinear complicated stamping, often in combination with the rectilinear designs associated with Napier and Woodstock ceramics. Napier surface treatments include fine line rectilinear and rarely curvilinear complicated stamping, as well as plain wear shirts. And here are some um, Swift Creek Pottery. Look at how well preserved the pottery is, okay? Look at the designs. Um I was actually blown away by looking at these designs because I was like, wow, this is pretty detailed. And the design you see here on the top right corner, obviously that's not used for um cooking or eating, but it was used for most likely religious purposes. And now we're gonna go move on to Napier culture. Okay, late in the Swift Creek phase, a pottery type called Napier emerges, especially in the Middle Georgia Piedmont. Napier's decorative elements tend to be rectilinear designs consisting of diamonds and squares with chevron and ladder like filler elements. In the late 1930s, Napier pottery was first recognized at the Napier site near Macon. Although it is generally thought to post-date the more curvilinear Swift Creek type, its exact place in late woodland chronology is poorly understood. This results from too few sites excavated with pure Napier components. Napier ceramics were originally recognized during the excavations at Macon Plateau in the 1930s, overlap with both earlier Swift Creek and later initial Mississippian Woodstock series. Ceramics has been documented at a number of sites, suggesting of the series represents terminal woodland occupations in the area. Napier ceramics are uncommon in the vicinity of the upper Savannah River Basin. The Napier culture emerged in Georgia Piedmont, Middle Georgia Mountains, and western North Carolina, according to archaeologists. Stamped ceramics with Mesoamerican geometric motifs and massive five-sided mounds, platform mounds, were typical. The largest Napier mounds were in Gainesville, Georgia, and Blue Ridge foothills, in the Nakuchi Valley, approximately southeast of Brasstown, Bald, Kenmore Mounds and the Sumerian Mounds. As a result, the Napier culture is thought to have originated in that area of Georgia. Napier culture communities, on the other hand, have been discovered as far south as the Macon, Georgia uh, metropolitan area. The Napier culture people built five-sided mounds like those of the Itzamayas in southern Mexico. However, to date, archaeologists have not found evidence of large towns being associated with these mounds until 1250 AD, when the Etowah town site was influencing a large region of the southeast. The Napier culture people did not, I'm sorry, the Napier culture people did grow corn, beans, and squash, but did not uh, grow them at a large scale of the later southeastern towns. Okay, and here are some of the designs of the Napier culture. They're very intricate, very detailed designs on relatively thin, grit tempered pottery. Okay, um, the lands and groves of the pottery are typically thinner and narrower than the Swift Creek designs. And here are some more designs from the Napier culture. Some more pottery designs here. Okay, then we have the Kenmore site. It's a site in White County, Georgia, near Desati Nokuchi. Two earthwork mounds are located on top of a natural hilltop at the site. It is apparent. It is the apparent age of the Kenmore Mound and its geometric relationship to other five-sided mounds that is most intriguing. The Kenmore Mound is probably the oldest five-sided mound in Georgia. It may date to a time period older than 900 AD. This site is on the same longitudinal line as Okmulgee National Monument, about 112 miles to the south, and the Peachtree Mound near Murphy, North Carolina. The Kenmore Mound pottery is the same age as the earliest pottery found at Okmulgee National Monument. It is, however, a distinct type of pottery than that produced by Okmulgee's founders. This form of pottery, known as Napier Ceramics, was produced in several of Okmulgee's suburban villages. The five-sided mound um, was rather a rare mound building technique in Georgia. Um, Although it was common among the Isamayas of the Central America, the only American Indians who built five-sided mounds were the Isamayas in the creeks in Georgia. In the Lobser report, examined archaeological material near Cullowhee, North Carolina, in depth and identified these sites as Cherokee. This was then used as justification for designating C as Proto Cherokee, despite the fact that Cullowhee is 56 miles north of Track Rock Gap. Archaeological excavations at village and mound sites in the city of Cullowhee by North Carolina State archaeologist David Wood revealed that the early ceramics were predominantly Napier. Later settlement of these locations resulted in the production of Georgia pottery types such as the Etowah 1, the Etowah 2, and Lamar. North Carolina archaeologists have identified Etowah and Lamar culture pottery as Pisgah and ancestral to Cherokee since the late 20th century, yet it is extremely similar to pottery from the Georgia mountains that is known to have been produced by the Creek ancestors. During the period between 1150 AD and 1375 AD, the ancestors of the Creek Indians built a series of large pentagonal mounds in Georgia, western North Carolina, and along the eastern edge of Alabama. Five sound sided mounds are almost non existent in other parts of the United States. The mounds in their accompanying towns were perfectly arranged on the apexes of the triangular matrix stretching for several hundred miles. One leg of the I'm sorry if I butchered this word, isosceles triangles was true north south. Another leg was true east west. The hypotenuse was the angle of the solar azimuth at sunset on the winter solstice. How the accurate surveying of such long distances was accomplished by the indigenous people in this region. And of course, scientists and archaeologists are been baffled. They just don't understand how the Creeks did it. Indigenous people are far more advanced technologically than people want to give us credit for. Okay. The five-sided mound is always the dominant mound in the town. The Kenmore Mound faces the sunset of the spring and fall equinox. Later five-sided mounds were almost always oriented to the sunset on the winter solstice. During that period of time, the Muskogee New Year, they assumed that it probably began on December 21st, whereas it now begins on June 21st, the summer solstice. Although five-sided earthen terraces were constructed by the Olmecs in Mexico, they are rare in North America except in Georgia and Western North Carolina. Okay. And of course, they tell us, unfortunately, the modern day Creek Indians have no tradition that would explain the significance of the pentagonal shape. Okay. Whereas the pentagonal mounds built 200-300 years after the Kenmore Mound can clearly be associated with the ancestors of the Creek Indians. Okay, so there's definitely a connection between the Olmecs, the Creeks, the Mayans, and even the Cherokees. I know a lot of Southern Indians talk about having, Mexican origins. So it's not shocking or surprising to me to have come across this information because, as some of you guys may know, I have roots in Mexico as well. Yes, there is uh, influence from the Olmecs and the Mayas in Georgia, and it's definitely there, okay? And they're definitely connected in some way. And there could either be the same people, different people, kin to the people, but there's definitely a connection there, okay? And that concludes today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you enjoy my content on my YouTube channel membership, I'll be talking more about the Mayan and Georgia connection. If you can, donate. I will be taking road trips to American Indian sites that are very historical, and I think also give a lot of meaning to why things are the way they are today, because I really want to do a video on Round Rock, Texas. And so I will be doing that very soon. I can just donate, and this will help me with travel expenses and getting equipment and etc. But either way it goes, either you donate 10, 5, or even just $1. I appreciate it all, because again, I really do enjoy being a researcher, and I really do enjoy coming back and telling y'all guys the information I have come across, because of course no one else is talking about it. It may not be in my ancestral lineage directly. It's still pretty important to learn as much ancient American Indian cultures as we can, because as the days go by, information gets lost, information gets stolen, and information can also cease to exist if no one keeps up with this. I'm very proud to be a researcher. I don't care if I'm just a YouTube scholar. I enjoy I enjoy giving y'all the information I find, and it just doesn't come from, Google. This information come from, academic websites. I only get information that is directly from scientists or has some type of university or professor backing, not what people do on YouTube, and which is regurgitate information. Okay, I want to get down to the source. I want to get down to the info, and of course, I'm gonna come back and tell y'all all what I know. So thanks y'all guys so much for watching, and comment below on what video you want me to do next. I will also be doing a video on Wakanda, so I'm very excited to do that. So thank y'all guys so much for watching, and until the next time, bye. Oh, wait, no. Wait, before you go, don't forget to subscribe, okay? Don't forget to like, because y'all be leaving and don't be liking. All right, I don't like that. Instead of leaving, you need to be subscribing, okay? And after you subscribe, you need to hit that bell button to get notified when I upload a new video, because y'all always tell me, Yona, I don't never, I didn't even know you was still doing videos. I never get notifications. That's because YouTube be slacking, and they be now telling us we have to be using bell buttons to get notified when our favorite YouTube people do upload new videos. So if you enjoy my content, hit that bell button so you get notified when I upload a new video. Okay? All right. So I'll see y'all guys later. Bye.